Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Chad Warren. It is 5:33 a.m. Central Time, Hot Springs, Arkansas, USA. I hope you're well. So, today's episode, or this episode, may make more today, is called Love American Style. And the reason why is because of this really cool book that I just bought, and I want to show you more about that here. Okay. Okay. Good. All right. So, well, I guess I can expand this actually like that. So, what happened is that I was on Twitter and oh, I got the order wrong. Here's how it all starts. So we're talking about love, and we're talking about how what seem like little things become big things. And what I'm noticing about this book, that other than I cried a couple times, just only read like 10 pages. But if you ever wanted love to not be a mystery, you know, and if you want to be able to do magic in yourself, which is to transform your emotions, to you should feel angry, you should feel however you feel, but love is tough for a lot of people, so it's not just you. And if you want concrete examples of how to love, if you want to feel love while you're reading the book, I'm sure we've all been around people that were more loving than others. My mother was an extremely kind person. She's also very stubborn, but she was just a sweetheart. She worked as a nurse, just like traditional mom in a lot of ways, and how hard that was. I mean, I'm not down with feminism, but I certainly respect how hard that must have been for her and other women of her boomer generation to really. They were, in a lot of ways, the last women. I don't mean to make anybody feel weird, but it's just my observation that, humanity's having struggles. And so a lot of these boomer women are the last ones that I see that have that love. And that love, yes, I mean, the media, just like I put up that Love American Style, that was the style in the hippie times. And then today we have this dark, post-apocalyptic vibe that is put into the air from all the ideas in media. So yeah, those things are a factor, but I think the important thing is that love is passed from one human to the other. So it's a real indicator to species health, like weather. When you come up to people and they're in whatever state that they're in, just I think that this book is empowering in that it allows you. I think at the end of the day, this is talking about how if you're in the right frame of mind, you're going to stop what you're doing, and when somebody that you care about is in your vicinity, and you may not, they may not be your friends, they may just be some worker. It doesn't really have to be anything about who they are to you. Yeah, I'm deciphering this as I'm thinking about it, because the woman, her name is let me go back here. Christina Goebel. She's talking about how, sorry, I'm getting distracted because the OBS thing. Well, now where did that window go? Why is it not up? Oh, is it not on here? Okay, let me drag it on here. No, it is. There it is. Anyway, so oh, what was I saying? That man, I forgot exactly what the point I was making there. Hmm. Well, I'll just have to accept that. Okay, so let me just read from you this excerpt and see if you see this as worthwhile to you, like I did. I think that's what surprised me, the practicality of it. Okay, this is the part where she's visiting a coworker in the hospital. She doesn't really know, but but that's what the point is. Is that, and then she expresses that I think what this book is about is her own journey into being more considerate about other people and loving and you know reinventing herself in that way. And so that's what she's sharing her process in this book. And something in here, which you'll hear at the end about imagining lighting people up. You're not manipulatively, you're not doing anything you wouldn't normally do. You're just appreciating what that value of that is. That makes me think about this idea I've thought about several times, that I think a way to help us deal with this thing about paradoxically, strangely, what if it might make more sense if we were to connect material economics, right? Which is this problem because everybody is too materialist. And really, it's sad because that's something that transcends political differences between the left and right and stuff like that. Is if the problem is that people are too focused on their physical body and physical dying and worrying about that aspect of themselves and not equally caring about this stuff like we do drinking enough water, it's just silly. It's a behavior problem, easy and an easy thing to fix. So spiritual economics is about seeing those fires light up. It's exactly about that because I'll shut up after this, but the reason why the bean counters and now the computers that analyze everything that we write on this internet and is sucking us into this machine, you got to learn from the bad guys because they know what's valuable. So I'm telling you, not no, I don't mean to create negative perceptions of war, but there is a war, and it is between the part of humanity that wants to commit suicide and just become one of these machines. It's understandable that there's a part of us that feels that way. And there's a whole discussion here. It starts off book about their German Shepherd and him having to have a cart, a wheelchair because of this myelopathy. I think it is the myelin sheath nerves and all that stuff. Um, so I'm just going to read this and shut up and get out of here. But I was moved. Oh, let me show you. I do need to show you exactly how this went since she does a good job of being specific about stuff. Okay, so this woman here, Lauren Jenkins, liked my post about a podcast collectible promo idea, which was essentially saying, hey, I'm getting into postcard collecting. Okay. and making money and having fun with it and connecting with people, all those things. So I thought, well, why don't we connect postcards with podcasters? And like, if you took the time to write a specific, hey, you did this really awesome right here, and send that to somebody in the mail. I mean, as much as I'm doing that with this post, I think it'd be even more powerful with a letter. So I do want to popularize that campaign. Okay, so then it looks like Lauren does graphic design, logo work, I presume. I may be incorrect, but I think that's right. And so this is the post I saw on her page. Let the artist know what you think. For some reason, I am interested in logo design. I've even like done a little bit of writing. Like I was interested in getting a job where you write on windows. Words, letters, all this stuff, old school sign painting stuff. So, and I'm also interested in esoteric symbology and how it factors into everything. It's most definitely something like this that looks like a piece of jewelry. It's a logo. And I just said it's very strong and vibrant. I like it. Infinite love resonating. The font is like wizard smoke. Definite Renaissance craftsmanship vibes. And then Christina said, that's what makes me want it as a jewelry. I appreciate your input on our first meeting. This is so awesome. So, and now I'll read this excerpt. And so this is the visiting of the security guard in the hospital. Go back just a little bit more. Okay, so she's imploring you to take action. That's what I'm always doing in this alternative community, uh, trying to convince my fellows that really just listen to these podcasts. And I'm thankful to Daniel Unafraid of End of Days Radio and Clint Third World Assassin, who I met through there and who he lets me come on with him uh, on these videos and chat with all these people that are legends to me in this alternative occult conspiracy media community. And what was I saying about that? Why I get so lost? I didn't smoke weed this morning. I woke up early. That's the thing. Okay. Our primary purpose is for existing to make the world a better place before we leave it. Hopefully, you've heard this expression since it's the one that we need to make come true. Taking action. Worry wouldn't qualify as one of Martha Stewart's good things. Our intentions are useless to others unless we act. That's my whole vibe about, yeah, I really like all this information, this far out truth seeking information that I've been addicted to for decades, but it's like we have to build something with this. We can't just be lost in analysis and entertainment, deluding ourselves. And I think like this book is talking about, it's just about reinventing yourself, trying new strategies, taking the energy that you have and focusing it better. Just like the old school world of being into hot rods, tuning your all that, get it working right. All this energy that is misappropriated toward the daily news feed. And even if you are focused on those things, people got to be like the whole discussion I was having with Clint last night about trying to get back to Constitution and stuff like that. It's like everything is a distraction. If all of us just do what we know is the right thing to do, we know there's other people out there, and that is more important than government and religion and all of that. All is just that's like real faith in humanity. I don't I don't see a big distinction between this, philosophical wisdom, new age teaching, or whatever you want to put labels on it, talking about the value of love and that we know as an individual human, and any kind of people want to make these distinctions. Oh, this is Gnosticism. You're trying to better yourself to become God. No. And if I was, it wasn't anything out of respect. Just like you would copy. What the hell else are you supposed to do? Kind of schizo stuff goes through our heads because of these things. So this is something to do about it. Our intentions are useless to others unless we act. You'll find little satisfaction in thinking about visiting a friend, coworker, or family member in the hospital. You should visit them. I recently had to go through this. A friend of mine, I just found out, like the day before yesterday, that she finally passed. And this is somebody that I knew from high school that was a little older than me, and I looked up to in acting in high school, and it's a woman that I wanted to know. And uh, in the past 10 years or so, I don't know how long it's been, I, saw her again through a mutual friend. And then recently, she was somebody that I hung out with uh, when I would go get weed from a friend. And it really, so, no, people, I haven't heard any reason. It was just surprising that this person passed. And so it really, my friend looked at Facebook yesterday and everybody was reacting to all that. So I'm somebody that's not doesn't go to a lot of funerals and doesn't feel comfortable with any of that. I'm somebody who has lost touch with their father and stepmother. And it seems like the best thing to do with that is to just let that lie. Unfortunately, I just don't. I don't think that if I did come to them and try to get back with them, I don't think they. I don't think they want that. I don't think they value that. I'd appreciate it if they came to me and said, "Hey, we want to make amends." But anyway, so I'm just saying that it's not. I'm trying to do better as I get older and to not be a completely selfish piece of shit. So I'm glad that I did go. I'm just agreeing simply this is real life. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's something that you have to face and you have to do. And so if you do have that opportunity, I'm just seconding the emotion to encourage you to do that. Uh, One of my former coworkers at a school, a security guard, got seriously hurt during a chase. He was in the hospital, and though he'd return home soon, they said he'd take years to recover from several broken bones. When I received the email telling me about his situation, I had three choices. One, visit him. Two, worry about him. Three, forget him. Most decent people think they're too busy to go, and so they continue thinking about them for days or weeks. It is really awkward. If I tell you this, for whatever reason, I was asked to bring this person to the hospital after they'd been sick for a week and then they ended up getting pneumonia. But the point is that when I went to the hospital, and another thing I don't normally do, just think have such a negative view of hospitals, despite all the loving people, the mother that work in them. But I didn't know that she was gonna die. I thought she was just like overreacting to a cold, a flu. And I sat there for quite a while after we got checked in and we were waiting in the waiting room. And she was, you know, could barely get her in the. She was real tired, had her eyes closed. And Finally, I said, "I'm sorry, I gotta go. I have stuff I need to do." And she looked over and she said, "Okay." And I didn't know that was going to be the last time that I saw her. So if I hadn't have been called in, and I wonder, I don't know, but I somehow get the sense because I know that she cared a lot about being with people in their last moments. Shit, that was important to her to be, she respected all of that, and I do, but I don't really want to be around it. But anyway, so maybe that's what her gift to me was, to demand that I took her there to be around that. And I tell you, what does make me uncomfortable is that I experience emotions a lot, but really, like, I just don't, I really don't feel too much conflict about it, but like, I don't feel that bad when somebody dies. I know I'm sure if it was my son, I mean, I can't even say the concept, dude, I couldn't imagine. But like, or, I don't know. It just seems like it's harder here being alive. Who knows? Maybe it's worse being dead. I don't know. Don't care. Uh, He'd take years to recover from several broken bones. When I received the email telling me about his situation, I had three choices: visit him, worry about him, or forget him. I determined to visit because I knew everyone was too busy since I was too busy. I couldn't bear the thought of that security guard in the hospital alone. So I called Gerald, my husband, who didn't sound ecstatic about an after work hospital detour. He didn't say, "What joy!" To give him credit. He wasn't against it either. If I had chosen to worry, that would have been my reward. Pointless worry. What follows is what I gained instead. We have choices. My former coworker was situated in a small hospital room. One security guard sat next to him. Several more stood around his bed. My coworker lifted his eyebrows in surprise. No one from the school was there. We were all too busy, remember? I signed a guest book that one of the security guards had brought and left some candy for the patient and visitors to enjoy. While the security guard told us about his injuries, I saw the fear in his eyes, and I knew what he needed: hope. When you're a security guard, you've got to be mobile. These are active people like soldiers. When they're down, they feel useless and fearful about holding on to their careers. What will they do if they can't be a security guard? And she earlier recounts the whole thing. We've heard before, probably, that her professor in college made a point. I don't remember what class, but you know, who are you? Well, and the guy, student man, answers, "I'm a man. I'm a father. I'm a welder," or whatever his trade was, or whatever. And then this point is like, no, that's not who you are. Uh, those are your roles in society, and if you define yourself as that, then if you lose your job, if you become divorced, then you lose your whole identity, or retired. How many of us can identify with that? And like, that's one of those topics that's annoying between the left and the right about, women or black people feeling there's some kind of white male supremacy and all that kind of stuff. Because everybody everybody feels inadequate like that, and we got to help each other out with that one about what our identity is. There you go. That you can't define yourself as black or white and all that kind of stuff without it having this negative connotation to it. We are not, none of us are white or black. We are all a combination of different influences. We don't manage white culture or black culture. Largely, that's managed by the media. When anyone is in a hospital with injuries, it's depressing, lonely, strange. Oh my God! I remember Long story short, I did acid too much with some friends when I was like early 20s, and I ended up in a hospital. There's nothing funny about it. I ended up in a hospital, tied down with a catheter stuck up my yin yang, screaming like the devil. And good Lord, what a torment I must have been to those people that took care of me. And then I was probably given Thorazine or something to come down. And anyway, I was put in another room that was dark, but the light was, the door was almost closed with just this little light. I'm sitting there and I'm coming to and sobering up, and I'm like, hello? And I had this whole fantasy. I thought I was in hell, and this is what hell would be, to wake up in a hospital alone and ignored. So it doesn't, use your illusion. I'm, how, who know, what does it even matter? How do for all intents and purposes, that was real. So if we can see in a delusion, in a hallucination, if you believe that real and then you act this way, then we need to learn from that and purposely put ourselves into situations that are positive so we act that way. You might have nurses and doctors with a stellar bedside manner. Then again, you might not. The most profound gift I could give was to say a prayer for him for healing. You might not be religious, and that's fine because you can change your mind whenever you want. In fact, I was concerned about asking him if I could pray for him. What if he didn't believe? What if I offended him or the security guards around him? I asked if we could pray for him, and he agreed. That's another reason why I like this, because that has been such of which I just voiced it earlier, this discomfort that's perpetually in me, and no matter how much I've tried to address it, the contradictions between the more orthodox Christianity, even if it's Protestant and all that, but the more rule-based idea of what the religion is versus the mystic. Jesus. Can you imagine actually being that guy or being around that guy and all that? That's like far out adventure stuff, which is what we actually experience in our lives in that adventure. And here's where it all comes to play: that everything is a blend between these two, and we're going to have to let each other off the hook about stuff. I turned to the other security guards and said that if I'd heard that if many people gathered and prayed over and placed their hands on someone, then the prayer would be stronger. So they were welcome to put their hands on this dear man while I prayed. Again, this is the time that we live in. We should be having these thoughts, that religion and science used to be one thing, and I wonder how many people I could, if they didn't believe. I don't like religion, but I believe in God and faith and all prayer and all this stuff. And now we should be able to understand the viability of such a notion due to quantum physics. That this bias to thinking that material things are more of impact than immaterial things is patently, observably not true. So I really just get excited about this setting off a fire in other people like it is me. That love is the drug. Uh, Similar to how weed can have this effect, like it does for people that have what is that it helps with people that have tremors. What do you call that? Neurological type issues, because it regulates the transmission of your thinking, the synapse firing process, which is where these strokes and all the what's the other word? Anyway, where all that stuff goes on. So I expected they would. The other security guards all quickly placed their hands on him, and we said a prayer for his recovery. When I finished, tears were in his eyes. Did I tell you that I'd barely said a few sentences to this man in the years we'd known each other? I can imagine his surprise, not just at my caring, but at the love pouring from his brethren. We had laid our hands on him. That must have felt spectacular. I was blessed to see how much they loved him. Done. So that's the act that occurred, and love is the way that we're able to even understand each other or function. It is a miracle. In that moment, those people did the right thing. The man projected the fear, the woman observed it, gave the love. She goes on here to talk about that song by Foreigner, I Want to Know What Love Is, and says something that's obvious, but it's powerful to hear. Everybody wants to know what love is. I don't care if it's the Grinch, and you have to give that to people for that to happen. Love is voluntary. So that is the key, is that we have to become spiritual leaders practically in our daily life so that we respect when we are called by our thoughts and our emotions to act. And that is what will overpower government, war, that. We can all be working right there in the den of the devil with people with their hands on the triggers of this, that, and the other, and in the most powerful subterfuge we could bring upon these people is not to act as a terrorist or a spy, but to kill them with kindness. So that's a cool image, and I'm going to end it on that. It's like a love assassin. I got you. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this. I want to encourage you to buy this book for just $3. Give me a break on Kindle. And it's Golden Heart How to Love Humanity by Christina Goebel. Okay, thank you very much. Check me out over here at Chad War and some ungodly amount of numbers. I don't know if I can change that. Okay, thank you.